All right, so we are back with episode number 4. Last week we had a little bit of a break, so figured we'd pick it up back this week. We're going to be talking about some football, some basketball, and playoff baseball. So let's kick it off. I think we were going to discuss the NFL season so far and this week's games and kind of touch base on all that. I think tonight they've got the Saints and Cardinals playing, and again, two crappy teams playing in primetime.
On Thursday Night Football for
Yeah.
Amazon, right? We got some fireworks early in this game. 14 to what do we got? 14-6 Saints.
14-6. Andy Dalton's looking pretty good so far.
This is 7 straight weeks. Thursday night has been atrocious. It's been embarrassing. Let's keep it
I just thank God. I mean, at least touchdowns are being scored.
True.
Because the last couple of weeks has been nothing, and at least the Broncos ain't playing.
Or the Steelers. But it's amazing that the Amazon paid $1 billion for 15 weeks. It's not even the full 17 weeks. So,
and like we were talking about, they're not even have like quality teams. I mean, we were just talking about. I mean, they could have put anybody. Could have put the Chiefs and 49ers. They could have put, the Colts and Titans or somebody. Yeah. I mean, they could have just Ravens and Browns. I don't know, somebody besides
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Saints, it would be better if Jameis was there, obviously.
He is, but he got benched because of his poor play again.
Right, and he's banged up.
He got injured and he started, I guess, having some poor play. So
yeah, his thumb was the size of his head.
Surprisingly, I mean, the Cardinals being 2-4, that's kind of surprising. I figured they'd be a little bit better. I mean,
no, I didn't think they were going to be good because I'd never been a believer in Kyler Murray. It's nothing against Kingsbury too, because he's a very good play caller, offensive coordinator.
You think he's on the hot seat this year?
I think he will be, but I don't think it's necessarily his fault. I think a lot of it falls on not having D-Hop being suspended for the first month. That hurts.
Right.
Marquise Hollywood Brown now is probably gone for the year. So that's why they just traded for the guy from the goofball from the
Anderson,
from the
Robbie
Panthers.
Anderson.
Yeah, Robbie Anderson looks like what's his name from fucking Friday. Smokey, dude, bro, the fucking
they
hair.
Got him blowing up all over the internet. With
the memes are going wild, man.
Yeah, looking like Angelica from the Rugrats.
Oh my god, I was rolling, man. So, but I actually do think it's a good trade for them because now Marquise is out. D-Hop comes back this week, right? They still got a good tight end. So I do think Kyler I think they can right the ship, though. I wouldn't write them off. The NFC West is not good, Brad. The Niners don't really scare anyone offensively. Defensively, they're stout as it. I mean, when Bosa comes back.
It's kind of surprising, though, because Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, he's not a bad quarterback. He played pretty well last year, so it's kind of like he's kind of.
Well, they don't have a running back. Well, they don't have a running back. That's their problem. No running game.
Yeah.
So, teams are daring him to beat him, and he hasn't been able to do that.
Again, it's a little surprising, too, because, I mean, last year they didn't really have a lot of good quality running backs then either. They had
they had Miami. Yeah, and they had Mostert, too, from Miami, remember?
Right.
But they're banged up. So those are good running backs, but they can't stay healthy. And look at Elijah, their best guy. Mitchell goes down week 1, and he might be out for the year. Now, if he was there, I think the Niners are over 500.
And there's a rumor they may be trading for Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, I think that would be a good trade because what's his name has history with his father, with Shanahan and McCaffrey's father.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So pretty familiar with the offense too. Then so
and they won't have to make him 100%. He can take some snaps with the backup because the Niners have running back by committee. So right now,
of course, Garoppolo's an upgrade over Baker Mayfield.
Well, no doubt, right? No doubt.
Not a knock against Baker, I mean, but I just
where is the what about the young stud though, that
Darnold?
They have there? No, the 49ers guy that started.
Trey Lance, he got injured like the first week.
I know, but I'm saying, where is he at? I want to see him. I like him. I would like to see him. Yeah, I would like to see the Niners trade Jimmy to the Panthers, or
but you won't have a quarterback because I think Lance might be out for the year.
No, they said he was. I thought it was 6 to 8 weeks.
Maybe. So he could
So,
be coming back the next couple of
yeah.
weeks. But
I mean, you gave him that money, right? And
right.
Jimmy's he's the highest paid backup in the league by far.
Right.
He makes more than
but
Mitchell.
I don't think the Panthers will trade for Garoppolo since they traded for Baker Mayfield
and Sam Darnold and screwed them.
Right.
Yeah.
They just can't find anybody.
Yeah, like the Broncos.
Yeah.
Draft. You got to draft.
We did draft, and then
you drafted all right.
And people gave it shit for I've been catching flack online for saying that Drew Lock. He's a halfway decent quarterback if he had a chance.
I agree. I was with you. I'm the one that told you I liked Locke from the jump.
Right.
Remember?
But
years ago.
The kid didn't get a chance.
And then they switched the coordinator 3 years in a row. What do you think's going to happen to Drew?
And you still didn't get an O-line, which is affecting freaking Wilson right now as well, which nobody can win with that damn O-line. So
yep. All right.
But, I mean,
so
Wilson's another story we discussed ad nauseum.
Let's talk some more about the football this weekend, week 7.
Yeah. So some of the teams that
kind of a slow week. Kind of a slow
it
week.
is. We'll kind of touch base on this and kind of the controversy of the week was Tom Brady's comments about
deployment
being like a deployment, going to training camp and everything, which he today came out and apologized. And
yes, he did.
Spoke. But I don't think he's the first one that's ever said something like that either.
No, and I don't think he misspoke, but I do like to see that some of the players that have served before called Tom Brady out. So you had Alejandro Villanueva, who's retired now, used to play for the Steelers and Ravens. You know him, left tackle. He called him out. What's the other one? Pat Tillman's brother, the one that survived, not his older brother, because his older brother survived, but called Tom Brady out on Instagram and said, there's nothing in common with football.
Right.
You're
still going home every night.
You're going home to your, $24.5 million mansion? Come on. We don't want to hear it. That's one of his mansions, by the way.
Yeah.
So, no, we don't want to hear about it. Some guys go into deployment.
And he only has to be there.
We know some
this year, he got a break in between, he wasn't even in training the whole time.
Correct. He got a reprieve, the whole thing, right? I think he didn't even go.
And he don't practice on Wednesdays.
Correct. Well, I'm fine with that because most veterans don't, like Roethlisberger wasn't. And that's fine. Yeah. And neither did Peyton. Towards the end of his career. So no one's going to get onto you. But to say that it's equivalent to a deployment for a soldier or a Marine or sailor airman, I think is where his exact words were. Yeah, that was.
It's a no-go there, buddy.
Yeah, but it didn't rub me the wrong way. I just think you're going to hurt. Some Vietnam guys jumped on his case, and some other OIF and OEF guys. So I don't know. I like Brady personally.
I do too.
Was it his best soundbite? No, of course. But I mean, you and I have said some dumb shit. The thing is we're not on social media like that. We don't have 200 million followers like Tom does. So.
Which I mean, it's kind of like sometimes you got to give people a little bit of grace and not take shit so seriously and blow it out of proportion. Look at the context. You didn't mean it maliciously. He wasn't
not
trying
at all.
To downplay the military at all.
Not at all.
He was just kind of making something off the top of his head that came in as an example.
Yeah, and they asked a poor question. That reporter could have asked Tom it was worded kind of funky, so I think Tom was just like, I'll just run with it. I already said it, so.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so what else we got? We'll transition to, let's go to the MLB playoffs since both of our teams are out now officially.
Yep.
So, bummer.
The Dodgers are out, though. That was kind of surprising. I did not see that coming.
So now that we're fresh off of it, right, and my emotions and I'm no longer bitching about it, can we fire Dave Roberts already, Brad? I am tired of getting – this is now 6 straight years of over 100 wins. 6 straight years, Brad. This has never been done, first of all, in any league. And we have one championship. Now, we should have 3.
COVID year.
We should have 3. So I'm not going to put it all on Dave. But pulling Tyler Anderson in the 5th inning after he went 5, struck out 6, gave up 2 hits and 1 walk. Why is he coming out in the 5th inning? In a decisive game 4, you have to win. There is no tomorrow.
Right.
And then he mismanaged the bullpen again. Shocker.
Yeah.
It's like, so you go from your lefty starter, Tyler, who's been, by the way, won 16 games, only lost 2 all year. He's been money, lights out in the playoffs. Again, he's lights out. Why would you pull him, Brad? 5 innings, under 90 pitches. He's command of the strike zone. He's getting people to ground out. Only 6 strikeouts, which is still good for him. He's a soft thrower. He pitches to contact. And he just second-guesses himself, and he can't manage a staff, the bullpen, to save his life, Brad. I'm tired of it. It's every year. It's been this way consistently since 2017.
And with that payroll and that team, I mean, there's
no excuse. No, won 111 games. We were the most consistent team.
Kind of went cold.
But you can't put that on Dave. That's on Mookie, Freddie, Trey. Those guys all went cold. The only one that actually continued to hit was Freddie. Freddie did his job too. He did a 2-run double in that game, remember? So you can't put it all on Freddie. I think it was a culmination of we were banged up. You're missing Buehler. You just got back Tony Gonsolin and Kershaw, remember? So you're not at your full. And then you had some nicks and some stuff to Trey Turner was playing banged up with his knee. So it's not about who's the best team in the playoffs. You and I both know it's the hottest team that usually wins the World Series. And your Cardinals did it the one year. Yeah, your Cardinals did it that one year. They were by far not the best team. And then you can also look at the Atlanta Braves. They were not the best team last year. Matter of fact, they started off the year 12 games under 500, remember? Everyone wrote off the Braves. Well, then they get Acuna back. Freddie starts hitting crazy, right? Unbelievable in the playoffs. And they get hot pitching, and there go the Braves. Well, you know who's reminding me of that team this year? Guess who? The Philadelphia Phillies.
The Phillies,
because they get hot and they got boppers and Schwarber's.
With Harper coming back.
Speaking of Schwarber, did you see that home run? He's only batting 100 in the postseason, but 488 feet at 124 miles per hour. I mean, it's the hardest hit home run in postseason history, they said. So not the feet.
He hits for a lot of power. He don't hit for a lot of average. Or
no,
he's like 200 hitter.
Yeah, and you don't need him to hit for average. He walks a lot and he hits home runs. He's a leadoff hitter, not your prototypical leadoff. But you know what? They used to do that with the Orioles back in the day with Brady Anderson. He hit 50 home runs leadoff. And there's some other ones. Ricky Henderson had some pop. He was at the leadoff spot. Aaron Judge, they lead off now in New York. So the reason why you put him at the top is not only for the home runs, it's the more on-base percentage. You want them to get on base.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the thinking is Judge there, but the Yankees have so much power behind Judge that they can afford
because they don't have, I guess maybe somebody at the top that can fill in. They don't have that.
Well, they don't have speed.
Leadoff.
They don't have no speed. Nobody on the team.
It's kind of weird though because you just got Harrison Bader. So why wouldn't you put him at the top?
Man, he's already got 4 home runs in the postseason.
Yeah, he's caught fire.
He has caught fire. He usually strikes out a lot. He usually strikes out about 20% of the time. So I don't know. You'd have to ask their manager, which I'm not a Boone fan, to be honest with you. That's another team I think have underperformed under Boone. With all that talent and that payroll, there's no excuse that they – it's like, well, this year they won the AL East.
What do you think the Braves are going to do? They mentioned this week their organization has mentioned they want to become a top 5 payroll team. I think now they might be top 10, so they're looking to spend even more money.
Yeah, well, you saw the Braves are in on some big names already that they're talking about kicking it. Yeah. So
Trey Turner,
what the Braves Trey Turner's
Trey Swanson, I think they're going to extend.
Yeah, Swanson they're going to do. If they can't get Swanson, they're going to look at Trey, which, holy shit, but Swanson had a huge year for them.
Right.
He's good defensively. Obviously, he doesn't bring the speed or the usual pop that Trey does. And Trey had, 21 home runs and 40-something stolen bases. Trey is just, I think to me, Trey Turner is probably the best base runner in all of baseball. And I don't even think it's close. I mean, his IQ on the base pass is second to none. The Dodgers have to back up the Brinks truck for him. There's no way you let him leave Tinseltown. There's just no way.
Well, I think the only holes that the Braves have is their bullpen.
Well, the bullpen and
everywhere else.
They're
pretty good.
They got Harris. They got Acuna in right, Harris in center, left field. Well,
Swanson,
I don't think
Chapman or not Chapman, but
Ozuna. I don't think is going to stay. So
no. He's
he's a club option for 20. I think it's like 24 minutes. There's no way they picked that up after it wasn't even the domestic, but the DUI. He's gone.
Yeah, he's had just too many issues.
Yeah, and they don't want that. That culture is very good there.
Matt Olson at first. I mean, they've got a
Olson
lot of talent.
First. Yeah, they got a shit ton of talent. And then that new catcher, Contreras' brother, I like him a lot. He had 25 home runs as a rookie. So, I mean, how young are they and blessed with talent? I mean, and we didn't even get to the pitching yet with Fried and Strider. Strider and who else?
Strider.
Strider and what's the other young guy they got? I can't remember his name. Fried, Strider. We're missing one. Kyle Wright.
Yeah.
Who might have been their best pitcher this year. I mean, it's just they're just blessed with riches.
I think they just have to shore up the bullpen. Is probably their only weakness.
That's their weak link. Yeah, and Kenley pitched good though. Even in the playoffs, he pitched good.
But I guess getting to him.
Correct is a problem. They missed the setup man, and they have no long relief. But I think they'll get that from top to bottom. That organization is probably the best ran outside of maybe. I mean, you could look at a few. The Dodgers, I think, are still the best ran organization, only because of Friedman, and he has a blank check. See, Alex Anthopoulos, or how you say his Greek name, it's hard. Alex, but him in Atlanta, he doesn't work on that. But now, if he steps up with the top five, if the owner of the Turner family says he can spend more, well, look out for the Braves. So because they're
unload.
They got some great deals though. Harris, they just signed to a club friendly deal. Acuna, I mean, he's way
most of them are like
underpaid.
8-9 year deals,
right?
And most of these guys are young guys.
A lot under market value, right? The only one they had to break the bank for was Olson, but Olson's 27. He'll be 28 next year. He's 4 years younger than Freddie. Freddie's 32. He just turned 33. So they looked at it as an upgrade. There's no way you can upgrade over Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman's the best first baseman to me, not named Goldschmidt. Yeah, Olson's good, but he doesn't hit for average. Would he bat 260? I mean, Freddie batted 330, right? I think he led the national. He was
right up there. He was pacing the whole time.
And he led the league in hits.
Yeah.
Yep. So
he's good. What do you think of the comments by Shohei Ohtani this week? He was kind of disappointed in the season. He said he put up good numbers, but he was still disappointed in the season. I mean, a lot of people are taking that as
we know
ready to go back to Japan.
Yeah, I don't think he's going back to Japan. I think he's forcing his hand. You know who his agent is, so I don't think he's going back to Japan. I think he wants out of L.A., and I think he stays in L.A.
Don't blame him.
Either with the Dodgers, pick him up, or I think he'll be a Giant because of the following there in Japan. A lot of Chinese, a lot of Japanese. Yep. So,
I mean, if the Angels were smart, they would try to trade him and Trout.
I agree.
To get as much value right now as they can.
Yeah, and trade Trout to his hometown team of the Phillies, and then trade, if you can, Shohei, because he just signed a 1 year, $30 million to avoid the arbitration, which is weird.
They should trade him to San Francisco and get some pieces.
San Francisco. Yeah, because L.A. doesn't have anything to trade.
Moreno's not going to do it. Moreno is just...
Well, he's not going to be owning the team, hopefully. You remember, he's going to sell the team, Moreno.
He should, but, I mean, he's just bummed that team completely.
He's been threatening to sell it for the last 3 years, but I think this year he actually sells it. So we'll see. Yeah, he's just a horrible owner. All right.
I guess we can transition over to basketball. The NBA just started this week, and so far, still a young season. How do you think everything's going to pan out? Who do you think's going to come out from each conference?
So, I love my basketball, and my Lakers opened the night Tuesday against the Warriors and got smacked like I knew they would. We're just too old, but how do I see it shaking out? Honestly, out West, I like the Warriors because they're a year older, yes, but they're a year wiser too. They got Poole, they got Draymond, they got Clay, they got Steph, they got Wiseman coming back to a very good rookie for them in the middle of the center, top 5 pick 3 years ago. So I got the Warriors and who would be my dark horse in the West other than the Warriors to see them in. It's between the Mavericks and the Grizzlies. I really like Luka, but he needs help.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be the MVP again this year. Look what he did last night. He put on a show. They were up by 22 in the second half against the Suns, and then they blew it. They lost by 2, but it wasn't Luka's fault because he's magical. But watch out for the Grizzlies.
I mean, not Portland, but Minnesota Timberwolves are pretty good.
They're pretty good, but they don't play defense. So
Yeah.
they'll score 120, but they'll give up 130. So that's why I said so. In the West, I got the Warriors, the Grizzlies, and then the Mavericks. Those three, and then in the East, the Nets looked horrible. I don't think the Nets are going to do this good this year at all because of Kyrie's attitude.
Yeah.
So out East, I like the Bucks, who are playing the Sixers tonight, and then I like the Celtics. So I think it's going to be the Bucks, same as last year. Bucks and Celtics. And Warriors and Grizz in the Western. And then to win it all, I'll go, it's going to kill me, Celtics. And I'm a Laker fan. Yeah, I think they get it this year.
Yeah.
Just because this new coach, he's young, and I think they want to prove that last year wasn't a fluke. You saw opening night, Jason Tatum went off. He just so good. And then they got Jaylen Brown. They both went for 35, right? So they scored 70 points between the two of them.
But can they show up in the playoffs when it's time?
I think they will. That's what I'm telling you. I think this is the year Jason is realizing it's his team. Last year he was a little more passive to Jaylen. I think this year he says it's my team. He's going to take it. I really like Tatum a lot. He's got a good makeup. Went to Duke. His game has a lot of Grant Hill. If you watch his game, Grant Hill is probably my all-time favorite player, not named Kobe. Watch his game. He's a lot like Grant Hill. Same school, same build, about 6'8", 6'9". Can shoot the mid and to the three, and plays defense and rebounds. So I really like the Celtics. I know it kills me to say it, Vina. Trust me, it kills me.
What's kind of surprising, I think, come after this year, I look at like a team like the 76ers. If they don't compete this year, which I don't think they will, because I think James Harden is too worried about his stats and what his numbers look like. And so I think Embiid, if they don't do anything, Embiid's gone this year. You think he sticks around?
I think the Sixers are better than people are talking. And I think the missing piece there is Embiid is probably the best big man in the game when it comes to scoring. The best big man to me in the whole game is Jokic for the Nuggets, just because he can do it all defensively. I mean, his ball handling is superior to Joel Embiid. They both can shoot. They both can defend. They both can rebound. They both get you 30 and 10 a night. But separates Embiid, though, is his ability to create away from the basket. You know, Embiid is at 7'2" and be able to move that big. He's a load. So I think
hard in that lineup that nothing filters that way. It all filters through Harden
because he's ISO. So I think the smart thing for the Sixers is to get another point guard to come off the bench to play with Embiid. So when Harden does go to the bench, which is not a lot, he plays a lot. I know a lot of people make fun of Harden and his
Euro step or whatever the hell.
Not only the Euro step, but they say he's not in shape. But I'm telling you, the guy's cardio is top. He does not get tired. He doesn't come out. I mean, he's led the league in minutes.
35 minutes, I think, the other night.
Yeah, he leads the league in minutes last couple of years. I mean, he plays.
Right.
So credit to him there, you know.
Yeah.
So they laughed at him in Houston. He put on a little weight. Okay, well, it's Texas and Houston. He was eating good down there. Well, you know, I mean, some good Southern home cooking. He's a California boy.
Not like they were real competitive either in Houston, so he was probably just not.
Even with Westbrook, right? So they weren't competitive. Yeah. Now let's talk about weight. Let's talk about Zion Williamson coming back. He looked good. He looked
stacked.
Good. He looked good Tuesday night. He dropped, I think, 31, and they blew out the Nets by 22.
Yeah.
So that was in.
I think he'll probably have a good year this year and take the next step forward.
I agree. I like Zion, and I hope people get off him. He looks good. He dropped about almost 35 pounds, which is a lot of weight to drop.
I think I don't know. I think so many people are on him is just he doesn't have a lot of help there.
Well, I disagree.
Now they're starting to bring more people into the fold, but first year it was just pretty much him.
Yeah, they didn't have anyone. Now they have Brandon Ingram, who is actually outscored Zion last year, or 2 nights ago. So they got Ingram, they got Zion. They just need some shooters now to go with those two. So give them some time. They lost Lonzo. I think that was a bad trade for the Pelicans. I think they should have held on to Lonzo. Because if he kept Lonzo in this lineup, although we found out now his knee is bulky and he needed arthroscopic surgery again, so he'll be out another 6 to 8 weeks, they said, if not longer. So that's going to hurt the Bulls, obviously. But yeah, so I think the Pelicans might surprise some people now that Zion's back. He looked healthy.
Yeah.
So,
what do you think's going to happen with the Lakers? Do you think they end up trading Westbrook?
Yeah, Westbrook
he's done.
Yeah, he's done. He won't make it to February with the Lakers. There's just no way. He can't coexist with Anthony, AD, and LeBron. Then you're going to have Patrick Beverley. You're going to have Patrick Beverley and another guard. They have 3 guards now in LA. So one's got to go, and it's going to be Russ. He's making $47 million, Brad.
Yeah.
$47 million.
Coming off the bench.
So they're going to trade him to the Pacers, I think, for Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. Because that salary matches, and then probably a first-round pick will come back to the Lakers for Russ. But if I'm the Pacers, I don't know if
Why do you think it's just not working there?
Well, I think it's a culmination of things. LeBron dominates the ball. AD doesn't dominate the ball, but he needs the ball in his hands. Transition-wise, you would think the Lakers would be unstoppable on the fast break with LeBron, Russ, and AD, right? But that's not the case because guess what? LeBron doesn't run like he used to. Fast break is – there's less fast break now in the NBA than there's ever been in NBA history. You just don't see it. It's turning more –
I think the Lakers, too. I think a lot of these teams are trying to be the Warriors light. They're trying to shoot threes, and they're not a shooting 3 team.
Correct, and it's not looking good. So Dallas got a lot of shooters. They can do it. Phoenix got a lot of shooters. They can do it. Memphis, they're the fastest team in the league with Ja Morant and the shooters that they have. They're able to do it. Steven Adams, their center, can run for a big man, and they're power forward. So if your team could do it, if you have the personnel, do it. The Lakers don't have the personnel.
No.
Not at this stage of their careers. LeBron and Russ are advanced age. AD's the youngest of them, but every time he leaves his feet, Brad, I say a prayer. He's scared. He's like the glass man.
Yeah.
You know? So, but there's no way you trade. Out. No, I don't think you trade AD. You have to trade Russ, though, and see what you can bring in. Bring in a shooter, Buddy Hield, and a center, Turner, and see if you can be more of a team-oriented, you know.
Even I don't know why they don't look at Bradley Beal.
They looked at Bradley, but he re-signed that huge deal in D.C., remember?
I don't know why.
So I don't know why. Yeah, it makes no sense.
I'll tell you a team that might be on a team to look out for is Cleveland. They've got a good young core.
They do. Again, they have no shooters, though.
Yeah.
So you got Sexton coming out the bench who played good last night. They won last night, right? Did they win or they lost?
No, they lost.
Okay, but it was a good game, though, right? They played a good game.
Yeah, it was. So they lost by 1 to the 76ers.
I mean, that's
they played
game.
The Raptors. I'm sorry, not the 76ers.
Well, the Raptors are going to be better this year, but I think the Cleveland played good, though. I mean, Sexton coming off the bench. They got the Spider, Donovan Mitchell, right? He did good last night. And then you got Mobley from USC, the second-year guy. He's a good big man. He could shoot a little bit. So, yeah, I think definitely we'll see. They're a fun team. They're young. They're very young. Outside of Kevin Love, they're exciting to watch, no doubt, and they're athletic as shit, and they defend. That's the key.
And, I mean, it's kind of surprising just how quickly they've kind of turned things around after LeBron left a few years ago and the whole thing with, shithead from Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, well yeah, it looked ugly, right?
Yeah, I mean they kind of flipped things around, but you feel good for Kevin Love that he's kind of been a staple to hold things together
holding
the last
it down.
few years.
Yep, and I like Kevin Love. He's another UCLA guy like Westbrook. So they're good players. I'm excited to see for the Cavs. I think the Cavs could shock some people. I think they're in the top 8 for sure. They definitely make the playoffs in my eyes.
Right.
Maybe a 7 or 6 seed, and maybe even get up as high as a 5. But we'll see. The East is much better this year. Yeah, it's wide open this year. Got some better teams in the East. The Heat too. I think the Heat is a team to watch. I know they lost last night, but Tuesday. That's another team to watch. I'm sorry, they did lose last night, not Tuesday. Tuesday was only 2 games. Sixers and Celtics and Lakers and Warriors. Yep.
Yeah, I look at it's just crazy, like with the Nets, like just how much talent they have and just how
But that's
just how much chaos is in
that's
that organization.
It's all predicated from Kyrie. Can't do his job. Didn't want to do his job.
I think Kevin Durant too. I think Kevin Durant he's still a good player, but I think he's just. I don't know what his deal is.
But you have three divas. You got Kyrie, KD, and Ben Simmons, Brad.
Yeah.
And Ben Simmons, by the way, for his first game last night, 4 points, -26, meaning that the other team outscored him on the floor by 26 points.
Jesus.
Couple rebounds, couple assists, and more turnovers than points. Come on, Brad. That's not going to get it done in 28 minutes.
No. And their team that they have is just, I mean, it was just pretty much Kevin Durant that scored last night. I mean, you had Kyrie Irving that only scored 15. Like I said, Ben Simmons only put up 4 points. I mean, you can't win with that.
No, and Kyrie really struggled from the floor. He did not look good at all. I watched that game. He couldn't, which is rare for Kyrie to have a bad shooting night like that. But it's the first game. We'll see.
Right.
The Nets can get it right. They signed Blake Griffin. That should help their bench for sure. So we'll see.
All right. I guess this week we can finish up with some college football too.
Yep.
We got coming up, and a surprising team that I got the jersey on, even though they're not my favorite. Tennessee.
Yeah, that's okay.
Beating Alabama this week.
Yeah, Tennessee Orange. Was that your Peyton Manning jersey?
No, Kenny Chesney.
Oh, even better. Which is funny because he's a Tennessee fan, but he's also a Steeler fan, diehard Steeler.
Oh, is he?
So, yeah,
but he's a Patriots fan.
No, he's Steelers. He did all the concerts for the Steelers. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Him and his wife.
I thought he was like team hopping.
He might be, but he's a Steeler fan.
Yeah.
I was going to say, so college football was some good games last week. My USC Trojans were undefeated, lost to a good Utah team at home and at the Coliseum. Credit to Utah. Utah's
a lot of big
tough,
upsets.
Man. Utah's tough, man. Came in and 49-42. Talk about a hell of a game, and they were down 10 points there the last 3 minutes, and their quarterback looked really good. Our quarterback, he's a senior for Utah, and Caleb Williams is a true sophomore for the Trojans. Look really good, but hats off to the Utes, the Utah Utes, for a tough game. Another good team to watch out for is UCLA. They're undefeated, so no one's beat them. They play Oregon, so that should be their toughest test so far, and
right.
So we'll see if they stay undefeated, which I think they can beat Oregon.
Yeah, I think a couple other teams. They got Texas and Oklahoma State this week.
Yep.
Alabama's going against Mississippi State, so Alabama should rebound from that. Kansas State, TCU, which is always a good matchup.
Yeah,
they always play pretty well against each other.
Yep, and TCU had that big win already on the year.
Yeah.
Yep.
And of course, UCLA and Oregon.
That's what I was saying. So I think
that's a good
the
matchup.
Game of the week. Probably
Texas
the game of the week.
Oklahoma State. And of course, my hometown team, they end up losing. They were ranked number 25, JMU, and then they end up losing, no longer undefeated. I was disappointed.
But it was a good game, though.
Yeah, it was.
It was a really good game. So,
and I tell you, might be the toughest team out there besides Tennessee is definitely Michigan.
Yeah,
Michigan got a heck of a team.
Yeah, and I really like your guys' running backs, and then you got 3 really young and fast, good receivers, and then you have the one possession receiver. I've been impressed with Michigan's defense too.
Right,
defensive line. I already told you. We talked about this 2 weeks ago. Michigan, I think, arguably might have the best offensive line in college football history. I mean, and you guys might have 3.
Matchup with Ohio State this year is going to be really good.
Yeah, and I think you guys get them.
A matchup.
Yeah, I think you guys get them this year. But this year, look,
2 years in a row.
Are you guys this year? You guys are playing in the Big House, or is it at the Horseshoe?
I think so, because we beat them at Ohio State last year.
Correct. So I think this year it's at the Big House. So
yeah,
so that's huge. That's huge for you guys. Yep, it's going to be rocking 100,000 blue and yellow screaming crazies. So it's always the game of the year. Let's be real. Even when Michigan's not good, they still want to beat Ohio State. And Ohio State's been good for 20 years. They haven't had a losing season in over 20 years.
Yeah.
So
they're still good. And like I said, I mean, you got Tennessee's really surprising. I'm kind of shocked that that'll be a good matchup then in Georgia this year.
Yeah, I don't think it's shocking because of their quarterback. Tennessee's got a quarterback, Hooker.
And he was from the transfer portal.
He's the transfer portal, and it was a good pickup because the coach at Tennessee had to put in that transfer, the request, and it was just a perfect timing. They were able to get Hooker because Hooker was recruited and wanted to transfer them more than Tennessee. There was a few schools. Florida was one, all the SEC schools. So Florida, Tennessee, there was a couple other ones. But he ended up choosing Tennessee because he knew he had no competition, essentially. If he went to Florida, Florida's quarterback's not doing that good this year, but he's young. So give him a year. But we'll see. I do like Tennessee, and orange is my favorite color, so I tend to follow Tennessee anyways. And they got a good following though with Arian Foster, Peyton Manning. They've had some good talent come out of Tennessee. Let's be honest. So
just the last, like we said last week, I think 15 years under Butch Davis and wasn't Lane Kiffin there? Was he there for a time period? I can't remember.
He was there. Yep, Lane was there for a little bit.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, he wasn't there long. Yep, he didn't do a lot though. And you know, we're having a hard time getting a quarterback. So
and well, of course, like the recruiting in the SEC is about darn near impossible.
Correct. Yeah, to get him out of Alabama
Georgia, Clemson, Alabama. I mean, they kind of hold the whole LSU.
That area. Yep.
I mean, it's just this. They snatch up all the talent.
Correct.
So we'll wrap up this week and kick it off again next week and see how the week goes and pick it up back next week.
All
right. Have a good one.
Have a good weekend.